Oh, jeez.
Matt's got to turn on his camera, and then we can start the Legendary Lens podcast.
It's on, bro.
It wasn't on for me. Check the stream. It wasn't on.
Bro,
it
I had
just
the stream
came
on, bro. It's been on for a good 2 minutes, bro.
You liar! This is the Legendary Lens podcast, and I will not stand for this low-grade, low-budget.
45 seconds to a minute.
It's time to ring the bell.
Why don't we just make... Haymant, coin flip it? How long was my cam on? Coin flip it, heads or tails?
It ain't coming back down.
Oh no! Oh no!
Alright, before we get to week 8 and Matt's tragedy of a week, we're gonna talk about some Worlds, because it has been confirmed that Worlds is going to attempt to happen.
Yay! I'm happy.
Why you touch?
I was trying to open it and I hit the wrong thing.
Worlds is supposed to start on September 25th, go through October 31st. It will be in Shanghai, China. And Shanghai will also, China will also be getting the 2021 Worlds as well.
True.
You guys ready? You hyped?
I'm not confident it's gonna fire at all cylinders, but yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to watch. I wonder how they're actually gonna cater to how you have the giant stadium, if they're gonna do like a virtual arena like what LCS did, or if they're actually gonna have.
What probably will affect that is like how well like Shanghai and China have got the virus under control at that point, right? Like I imagine the teams are gonna go out really early and do like a mandatory quarantine if it's gonna be.
Yes, they're doing a bubble thing.
Exactly. So they're doing like what the NBA is doing right now in Orlando, which makes a lot of sense because that's how you do it safely. In terms of the audience, I imagine they're going to limit capacity, and the rest of it is probably going to be based on like how prevalent the virus still is, right? They might have those like temperature checker things that some places are thinking about already. But
makes sense.
So we know where they're going to be doing Worlds. It's at the Pudong Football Stadium. This is actually going to be the first event there, at all. It has a capacity of 33,000-ish.
I doubt they're going to hit it all.
I do too.
Nope.
I actually doubt that. Personally, I don't think they will have an audience there at all. But they said that they'll update us if they do.
Do Riot employees and team staff count as an audience?
No.
Because the coaches are there.
Give that a no.
The casters are watching the game. That's what audience.
Technically, they are an audience of a sort, but they're also working there. It's sort of like calling the vendors a part of the audience.
I was fucking around.
So, honestly, I'm going to say, this might be the earliest we actually know where the fuck World's Final is going to be. Because every year it seems to take until, like, the end of August.
Whoops.
Well.
Beat the shit out of my camera. Yeah, I mean, but I guess in the current times, things have to be planned out, right?
Yes. They do.
You gotta get that out early.
I am updating the title that I neglected to do.
I'm yawning really hard. Can I tell you guys about, while you're updating, want to hear about my bad choices this morning?
Sure.
Sure.
I didn't really eat a lot yesterday, so I woke up very hungry. My breakfast was 2 cups of coffee. My lunch was a large espresso drink that had the equivalent of 6 cups of coffees of caffeine in it. And that was all I had until 6 p.m. And Jesus Christ, I crashed so hard at like 5 o'clock. I crashed so hard, Haymont.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm barely awake, but we're talking about League of Legends. We're talking about Worlds.
Better than my diet. But yes, League of Legends.
No, wait, hey buddy, let me tell you what. No, it's not.
Oh, you don't know my diet.
Buddy,
I am actually
just
rather
easy
excited
mac and coffee
because
that's a lie.
Because TSM actually has a shot this year. Unlike every other fucking year that's happened.
For the first time in 6 years.
Oh my God.
I just want to see TSM back on the world stage. I don't care if we don't make it out of groups. It's only 1 game behind C9 every time anyways, so who cares? That's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking forward to some international play. I haven't seen any. I'm sad that MSI had to get canceled. I understand why, but that doesn't stop me from being sad about it.
No, of course not.
But
hey, you can buy the Nautilus skin and support all the first place teams.
No.
Why would I buy a Nautilus skin when I could not spend money on a game I barely play anymore?
Emma, were you gonna say something about Worlds before I go talk about the format real quick?
Oh, I'm also super happy that we're getting to see international play. It's going to be crazy because we didn't even get a preview of what teams were prioritizing at like MSI. If you watched each region closely, you probably have an idea, but who does that?
Well, I mean, I'm sure, first of all, the team analysts do. And second of all, I'm not sure that it's always the case, though, that like what you're prioritizing in your own region is what's prioritized on the world stage.
Oh, absolutely not.
Especially because we don't really know what the game's going to look like then. Right. They might do another bruiser patch.
Don't bring the tank meta back.
I love that.
I was gonna bring the bruiser meta back.
No.
Bruiser meta is so fucking hard to
play. Then we bring back balls for a fat pen on, dunk dirty, and we call it a game, boys.
Oh, the Juggernaut patch.
My God.
So, something different about this year's Worlds, because of LMS getting scrapped, we now have some open slots for direct qualification, and what is happening is China and EU at the moment have 4 slots for qualification. That means they get 3 teams directly into groups and 1 team into play-ins. And then LCK and NA both get 3 slots, 2 teams in groups, 1 team in qualifiers. I think all 4 of them are getting a 1 seed, but I'm not 100% on that. Yes, all 4 of them seem to be getting a 1 seed based on this thing I am looking at here, which may or may not be correct because I think it's half based on rumors. And it looks like the PCS, which is what the LMS kind of became, has 1 seed directly into groups, and Vietnam also has 1 seed directly into groups. But Vietnam and PCS also have 2 seeds, or I'm sorry, 1 seed into play-ins. Everyone else gets 1 seed into play-ins. So that's basically the qualification groups. What do you guys think about that? How China and EU are getting 4 teams?
Man,
I guess it makes sense if it's based on like Blast World's performance and depth, right? But but I don't know. I wonder, do we know how those specific regions were chosen?
What do you mean? How they were
like
how they're gonna choose their players, or how they're
how they got chosen to have more slots?
Yes. Yeah. They get it's based on the international performance of the last 4 tournaments.
Oh yeah, so I was right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense then. I mean, if it's based on that, I think it makes perfect sense. If it was just like random, I would be more annoyed. But if it's based on international performance, I mean, like, how do you argue that? That seems like the most reasonable way to do it.
Yeah.
Although it means likely NA will only be on 3 spots for the foreseeable eternity.
I mean,
but
they've been getting the same results that Korea's been getting. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but a lot less trophies.
But they've had the same number of trophies as Korea.
When?
The answer is 0. No. In the last 4 international.
Oh, in the last 4, yeah. But I'm talking about like history here. Korea's got us beat in the early game, boys.
Has Korea won an IEM? I don't know if Korea's won an IEM.
IEM.
They might have won one of the smaller ones. I mean the Katowice.
Katowice. I don't know. All I remember is TSM was won in season 5. That's it. That's the one little boost.
And everybody will continue to discount it.
Because it wasn't impressive.
Because then they got clapped.
Oh my god, I can edit user volume without closing out the thing now. Thank Jesus.
Perfect.
Oh. Okay.
Man, I wanted to see more of Vietnam.
So
I would have liked to see a little bit more of the smaller regions getting a couple more spots and just have the major regions evened out.
Wait, so you wanted to just have all the major regions have 3 spots and add more spots for Vietnam?
Vietnam, PCL, OCL.
Just like play-in groups, you mean? Like emerging regions?
Emerging regions, yes.
The problem is you can't dole it out to the emerging regions fairly, because none of them have really shown to get very far besides the PCS and even the PCS is they're not the same as LMS was, to be honest. And Vietnam actually is a server that is a similar size to NA.
Really?
Yeah, at least their ranked population. Yeah, Vietnam, and it's growing. Vietnam is actually a pop-in server. I'm expecting Vietnam to start growing more and more as the years go on.
Interesting.
Okay.
I cannot find this information, by the way. About
That's why I didn't bother checking. So, I don't think adding more of the other parts would have been better.
It looks like CJ Entis Blaze once won an IEM.
Maybe.
Which was
that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it is. KT Rolster also won.
Like, Haymant, who are we gonna add? Are we gonna add Brazil and Turkey? Or CIS, maybe? Because those are the only ones that have had sort of standout performances. Everyone else has been definitely lower class than those three. But even those three, I wouldn't say they could even compete in the LCS. Like, they might make playoffs in the LCS.
Well, this season, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Hey, 80% of the league, baby!
80% of the league. Well, that is a fair point. I think Turkey might have a fair shot.
So, I mean, you can posit it this way by saying,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, or Evil Geniuses... okay, I'll just do this. FlyQuest or Golden Guardians, because they're 2 games over EG. Do you think that they would win in any emerging region?
I don't watch the emerging... I really don't watch the emerging regions enough.
But you've seen them in international events. You know how...
Yeah, but I don't know what they're like right now. What if right now they're just sleeper popping, right? Like...
Have they? But wait, we've had years to see them pop off. Like, and now, what's changed? Are everybody's stuck at home playing video games?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
I definitely think that they would be contending for first or second place easily in almost any emerging region. I think Turkey might be the only exception, and maybe Brazil. But in general, I just think that these teams would do very well. I just don't see them even taking that 4 slot away from an EU or a China team. Now,
yeah, what if Brazil wins Worlds this year?
That'd be
nuts.
That'd be hilarious, and I'd love it. That would be the greatest run in esports history, and nobody would honestly, ever top it. Like if you thought that Team Liquid beating IG at last year's MSI was the largest upset in the history of all upsets, this will take that cake. It will take that cake and the next 5 cakes.
It'd be nuts.
Like, TPA has nothing on this. Alright, so I wanted to just cast a little shade at EU, because their top 2 teams in EU right now are Mad Lions and Rogue.
Yikes.
Oh, yeah.
What happened to G2?
They have a 3-game lead on G2.
What happened to Fnatic?
They have a 4-game lead on Fnatic. I don't know what has happened to Fnatic and G2, but they have shit the bed. And I love it. I love watching chaos break out in places I don't care about. Oh,
my God.
And EU LCS, that's the perfect place.
If you've never seen a Mad Lions game, they're... Imagine C9 last split.
Really?
That's kind of what you would picture.
Damn.
That's how they're running EU right now.
Weren't both of these teams like super dumpster last split?
Mad Lions was a completely amateur team last split. They came in with a bit more experience this split, and they're hammering people.
I'm just...
It's
so surprising to me that these 2 teams that are... Who are on these teams right now? Do I even know the players on these teams?
You're not going to recognize them. It's like Arome, Harze.
I recognize Humanoid on Mad Lions and...
I think Rogue
Hansama and Vonder on Rogue, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I recognize Larson, but I think he's kind of new.
He is pretty new. He's been a pretty good mid laner, too.
These are a lot of new blood, and they're definitely like taking it to the EU, and that's definitely something I like to see. But I like watching G2 and Fnatic stumble more. But here's the sad truth: is I do think that these 4 slots that they get are gonna let G2 and Fnatic get into Worlds.
Yeah.
And I just one worlds or one championship without G2, please. I'd love to watch that kingdom crumble, as it were.
Well, there's no guarantee that they're gonna like get far if they're playing like Dookie.
It looks like they're playing super inconsistent and complacent, and I think they're starting to ramp up now. I saw a quote from, I forget who it was, but they were saying that they were finally being challenged in their league, and if in the past they weren't, and it felt really boring, but now it's becoming more interesting because they have to actually give a shit, otherwise they're gonna lose, and before they would win without caring.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I think that C9 might actually be falling into this trap a little bit right now. If you guys want to use that to segue into our next topic.
I'm good.
All right. Oh, actually, I meant to ask this question. How do we feel about China getting Worlds for 2 years in a row and pushing NA off till next year? Or not next year, sorry, the year after.
Given the state of the country at the moment and projections and general instability, I think it is a wise business decision.
I mean, I don't even think this is a business. Well, okay, it's a business decision, but
it's
I don't
a business decision because if they commit to Worlds in America next year, it's like actually not guaranteed to happen.
Well, I don't even think that was why they thought to do it. I think they just decided to do it in China because they're trying to do a 10-year anniversary thing in China, because China makes up like 80% of the population of this game, and that's when they can probably make the most money off of it. I don't think being fair to NA or even NA's state was a thought in this decision.
I'm sure NA's state was a little bit of a thought.
I'm sure it was on the table, but they're just like, this doesn't even matter. Like, if it was even good, we probably wouldn't even do this.
Fair. I don't know. I don't really mind it that much because I'm not going to go to it.
I want NA back.
Sure, but I'm not
I
going to
watch Worlds at a time that isn't 4 a.m. That's all I want.
VODs, baby. Live my lifestyle.
Fair enough.
I hate watching VODs.
Avoid the Reddit, watch the VODs.
Hate doing
Easy.
that. Just want
Acting like I'm not up at 4 a.m. anyway.
Quiet! Don't call me out like that.
You're both degenerates.
Alright, Matt, I have put this off long enough. It's time to talk about Week 8 and your most painful week yet. Would you like to walk us through what has happened this weekend?
No, not really.
Well,
you got it.
I'm going to pop our picks up on screen, and then we're going to go on through this. So, quick mention.
I really don't want to be in charge of this one. It is too raw, too recent, you know?
It is a quick little recap. Coming into this week, all three of us were tied in a dead heat in our picks at a 60% each. But this week, I have gone 6-4. Both Matt and Haymant have gone 5-5. I am up one game. One game. And I will continue this lead through next week. Thank you very much. Yes, I will be victorious. I'm calling it here.
I mean, calling the upsets has been your specialty this week and last week, actually.
You've been getting sauce, I'm not going to lie. You got it.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to call this week an upset looking at how C9 has been playing. I'm just saying. So let's just jump into what we're referencing right now. The TSM versus C9 match, and why that was my favorite hour of this week. Oh boy, did I love that match. Matt's got to wipe away the tears.
No, I'm barely awake. Keep going. Flame me to keep me awake, boy.
So, this is probably my favorite game of the split. Watching TSM take down C9 on the second round robin once again. Oh, TSM have been on fire recently. What's their win streak on right now? I think they're on like a 6-game win streak right now, and I have been loving it. Oh, watching them take down everyone, it's got me real hyped for next week when they finally get into that tie for first place.
To be honest, I think it's probably...
Shut up.
Oh, it's probably like a 3-game win streak, I think. I don't think 6.
4-game. It's a 4-game win streak for TSM.
4-game win streak. Okay. That sounds about right.
And C9 are now on a 3-game loss streak. That is a big yikes. C9 lost to both TL and TSM this week. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. Golden Guardians and TSM this week. And they lost to TL last week.
Yep.
These are honestly three of the teams that are gunning for top 4 at the moment. Like, Golden Guardians has been doing a gigantic push as of late. They're on a 3-game win streak, but I think they're like 4-2 in the last 6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how strong they are. Yeah, they're 4-2 in their last. No. They are 6-2 in their last 8 games, which is insane to me. That Golden Guardians have been this hot. I'm looking forward to watching Golden Guardians come playoffs because I think they're going to be able to make a pretty good argument for getting the Worlds in 3rd place over C9. What?
Over C9.
Yes, over C9.
Bold of you to assume. Do you know that Licorice is grinding solo queue now?
Well, he better
finally been forced to.
It should have been a while ago, but yeah.
There's a big yikes in this last weekend. So, this game started off looking pretty good for Cloud9. I'm not going to lie. C9 got a bit of an early lead coming out the gate, but guess what? TSM clapped right the fuck back, took control in mid-game, and never let go and choked Cloud9 out. Cloud9 had nothing. They could get nothing done, and I loved it. Licorice and Blabber looked like they were a detriment to Cloud9 this game, and oh boy was it so good. Broken Blade playing Aurelia was so fun. Oh, I loved it. And then Caitlyn, who is apparently a new OP champion, by the way, with double lip, just clicking heads over and over again, nuking people down, 6-1 and 5. I loved it. It was so much damage from that fucking Caitlyn. So good. Hey, man, what'd you think of this match? It was, I fucking loved it.
I didn't like that Caitlyn.
The Caitlyn, he's been looking great on it all week. I believe the other match that he played, he just went 7-2 and 1 by the end of it.
Did he play Caitlyn twice?
He played. TSM ran this bot lane like twice this weekend. That's what I do remember. They also ran it into EG. They ran it into. They ran it into EG, and in that game, they looked very good at just controlling objective areas. They'd always show up early to like the dragon, always get their like back timings correct, and most teams don't know how to handle it or how to poke into it, or don't have the tools to. It's been great to watch because their area control around an objective has most teams stumped, and it's something that we, kind of like. We're a little bit worried about TSM earlier in the split because we didn't really have an idea of what they have to play around or something like that. And it turns out just objectives. Now that Caitlyn's here, you can put down all those traps, force them into it, zone them off a little bit. It's a pretty nice time.
Yeah, it's really easy to control early game objectives and fix that early dragon problem they had. When you can just put 5 traps down and be like, what? Walk up. Come on. Let's go. Who are you going to go through? The traps or the bear? Take your pick.
Yep.
I want them to start running the winter skins for them because I think they're both linked into those like they're kind of Soviet Union themed a little bit. I love those skins. Those skins are really cool.
Oh man,
so good, Matt. What'd you think of this match? What's going wrong for Cloud9? What have you been noticing?
Shit. Which game was? Fuck, I forget which. No, I actually forget which C9 game it was this weekend. But one of the games this weekend, I felt like they kind of just didn't do anything. I don't think it was the TSM one. No, but there was like
Golden Guardians game.
It was. I think it was the Golden Guardians game where there was a point where they were just like watching Golden Guardians take towers, and I was like, "You're not that far behind. Like, fight." And they just like let them siege down. But ooh, there's the lightning, Anthony. And they just let them siege down a bunch of tower, like a tower or two. I was like, oh, that's bad. And like, yeah, they're. You seen it, buddy?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's real distracting out of the corner of the eye. They felt really like they were doing nothing at a lot of the points in the game, and I don't. That's not how they used to get dubs, right? They never got their dubs by being like a slow closeout choky team. They were just usually hitting the gas, they were making plays, they were winning lane, they were rotating.
The thunder is shaking their house.
Jesus Christ, dude. But yeah, I don't know. I think they just need to find that energy, need to be a little less complacent. I think there have been some sort of like miscommunications or what seems like miscommunications, right? But not sure.
So, it's hard for me to pin down like where exactly their problems are, because in the GG game, Niski and Sven and Vulcan were looking awful, but in the TSM game, Licorice and Blabber were looking awful, and Sven and Niski, they weren't looking better. Like, to me, this is looking like C9 has been snowballing downwards. And it's something that I was expecting to happen either earlier in the split or last split, where they finally meet adversity, and because they don't meet it often enough, they're not ready to deal with it. And that has always been a big downfall of these hyper win streak teams. It's part of the reason why when TSM had their 17-0 split, they went to Worlds and got clapped. Because they got a little complacent with how well they were doing in NA. They weren't committing as hard as they really should have, or they were all burned out by the time they got there because they didn't realize they needed to manage themselves, because they just kept winning. And when you're constantly getting success, you don't think you need to change anything. You think you need to keep going and doing the same thing over and over again. Because if you keep hitting the button and the fucking cookies keep coming out, why not keep hitting the button? So I'm wondering if they can right themselves before they have a problem in playoffs or even at Worlds. Because I'm starting to call into question if they can make Worlds. Because they're losing to Golden Guardians, they're losing to TSM, they're losing to Team Liquid. And it's not looking like they even have a shot to beat these teams when they play them. And I can't even say that it's the draft, because it doesn't look like it was the draft this weekend. They look like they picked okay comps. Sure, I think it wasn't a completely one focused comp on either of these games, but actually against TSM they had a really good team fight comp. And it just never panned out. They never got to be in a winning position on team fights. And TSM just fucking cleaned up every single time. They couldn't outfight them. They couldn't split push them. They couldn't out-rotate them. There was nothing C9 could do, because they never made that transition with their small lead they had early game. And they chucked it out the window. So that's where I'm at with Cloud9. Hey, man, where are you at with Cloud9? What are you thinking rights this ship or corrects course?
I'd rather this have happened now than in playoffs.
I can agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Because this is during the regular season, they still have a chance to right their ship before they start getting into the series.
They have 1 week.
They do have 1 week.
Otherwise, they have to keep playing playoffs.
But let's see what their matchups are. Dignitas, they should be able to beat Dignitas. Dignitas has been looking very passive on the O2. And what's their next matchup next week? CLG. Okay. You called... All right, I'm going to skip that one. But CLG, most of the time, I would absolutely think C9 should be able to beat CLG. If they can do 2 convincing games next week, then I'll be like, all right. They still have some sort of form. They still have some sort of mental taken together, because those are 2 teams that I think they should hands down be able to handle with their performances that they did last week. But if they can't perform there, then I don't know when you're going to start performing. Right?
Yes, I definitely think if they cannot beat these 2 teams next week, I would probably count them out of playoffs and count them out of Worlds. I'm gonna be honest, beating these 2 teams also wouldn't convince me that they're back to form, because both of these teams have not been very strong as of late. I think they're both on loss streaks at the moment. CLG is on a 6-game loss streak, and Dignitas is on a 2-game loss streak. So if you beat those teams, and if you lose to those teams, I'm writing you off, because I do not think you are going to improve enough to do this. TSM will probably take that 2nd or 1st seed spot, because they get to play TL, and if TL loses to who are they playing?
Immortals?
IMT, TSM gets a tiebreaker if they win. Also, TSM does have to beat Golden Guardians, which I don't think is going to be an easy task.
No, Golden Guardians are especially good at picking apart teams and side lanes and such.
I also just think that they have been improving in general. A lot of their individual players have been improving a lot. Looking at Huhi, he doesn't look like the same Huhi we were watching in January.
Hey, do you know what I can say after watching EG's Huni's Kennen this past weekend? I'm happy with Hansers. You know.
Oh, I love Hansers Kennen. Hansers Kennen's really good.
He's been doing very well in top lane. Many people have been seeing it as the Damonte and Closer show, but silently, he's been doing what he needs to get done.
Let's try to dive more into Golden Guardians and what they've been doing this week, because they've been looking really, really good. Like we've already been trying to talk them up a little bit, and I want to really know what we all think is been the key for their improvement. Have they? I don't think they've made a roster swap this entire split, have they?
No. They've committed to Huhi.
This is one of the few teams that have made no roster swaps after the swaps they made in the offseason. They've been running Damonte, Closer, Haunter, FBI, and Huhi, and all of them have been looking very competitive for their role. Now, if I would kind of make an argument for Damonte being an MVP candidate because of how much work he seems to be putting in for this team. But I do think there are a lot of other players who have been putting in more. But I definitely don't think Damonte's effort should be discarded at all, because at least as an honorable mention, he's looked really good. He's been a very strong mid laner in a world of actually good import mid laners, like against PoE, against Bjergsen, against Niski, against Jensen. He has been looking competitive, and his champion pool has been looking pretty good as well. Now, honestly, I fucking love his global champions. His Twisted Fate and his Galio have been insane. And I think that is their best kind of strategy to win the game, is to put Damonte on some globals and start playing with the map. Because it seems like Damonte and Haunter are able to create map pressure and then enter a team fight, and they more often than not win the team fight because of the pressure they've gotten or the kind of entrances they pull off. What do you guys think?
Oh, I've loved watching Closer and Damonte and Haunter in the top side. They've just been playmaking all day. That's the thing. It's either Damonte attacking side lane, Closer trying to get Haunter a lead, Closer in mid lane. He's really been there where the team needs him to be, and he's just being as aggressive as he can be. Which is great. Oh man, I do love this jungle.
Is fun jungle.
Aggressive jungle is fun jungle. You see him just throw out an E right there in the mid lane and just flash Q almost immediately. It's a great time.
This man Lee syndrome is a way of life. You always take those cues.
Exactly. Oh man, and like I said, Haunter, we've been sleeping on him a little bit, but he's been performing. He's been doing good.
When he left TSM, he was definitely on a downturn in his career, but I think he's been bringing it back up. He's definitely started that upswing this split, and I'm looking forward to watching him in playoffs, because I think he can definitely get this team far, and I'm hoping they can go for that third seed at Worlds, because I don't see them getting first or second definitely, but I think they can try to fight for that third seed, especially looking at their game against Cloud9 now, because I think Cloud9 is a gigantic toss-up.
Yep.
Matt, how you feeling about your Golden Guardians and their
distracted by the thunder and lightning?
Oh no.
I'm feeling, I don't know, they seem like they're doing well. I don't really watch a lot of their games.
You didn't watch them beat Cloud9, or you just blocked that out?
One. I saw that one. Listen, I think they're playing really, really well. I think that they're on an upswing, and I think if they can keep it together and keep up this momentum, they're gonna do really, really well moving forward. I don't know how they would stack up against international competition, frankly.
Yeah.
But I do think that within NA, they're a really solid team that I expect to do pretty reasonably well in the playoffs, unless something really silly happens. And at this point in the split, maybe. I don't know, but
I think I'd have more confidence in Golden Guardians going than that one year that CLG got dragged to Worlds by TSM winning finals.
okay, fair.
Because back when fourth place could go to Worlds and it made me real unhappy. Whew, that was a bad time. I think I'm a little surprised everybody has slept on them because they seem to have been like coming up really prominently, and then suddenly everyone has noticed. It's like whenever somebody finds out that our sensor's broken after it's been buffed 7 times in a row. Of course it's fucking broken. It's been buffed 7 times in a row. FBI stats alone probably should have told us that this team was going to start smashing, because he was at the top of so many metrics, and you don't get to the top of so many metrics with a bad team. That just doesn't happen. So, I mean, I'm loving it because anytime that a group of what I'll call misfits, because this is definitely a group of misfits, whenever they come up, it's always a lot more fun to watch, because watching Cloud9 and TSM and TL kind of rule the roost for the last 6 years or whatever, it's kind of boring. TL won 4 splits in a row with double lift and 4 other people. Like, it was just so boring watching TL win. If TL hadn't had one last split convincingly and it looked convincing this split, I'd have been so much more disinterested. But now I'm really excited to see how playoff shakes up. At the moment, I would probably say I think TL is the favorite, but I definitely think there are teams who can challenge them, because they don't look perfect. They don't look absolutely consistent. And if TSM win next week, I definitely think that it's entirely up in the air who's getting first place. And I think that's a better way to enter playoffs than a strongly convinced victory like it was last split. Last split was so boring. We didn't even want to talk about the final. What did we spend that whole thing talking about besides the final? Because the final was boring. Oh wait, they did that. Didn't they do 3 games or 3 series in a row that weekend or something, or 2 series? Because they had EG and FlyQuest play before, and then FlyQuest got to play against Cloud9, right?
Oh yeah, it was.
Thing. So we basically cast off the final and talked about the 3rd place match.
Yeah.
Fair enough, brother.
Because, hey, Turtle is a flanking ADC, a great time. I do remember that explicit moment. Which also reminds me, FlyQuest has been having dominant 2-0 games.
Oh, you want to talk about FlyQuest real quick?
I love them. I do love them. What I do dislike is that they've never been able to catch their white whale, which is C9. On the tail end of this split. They've never beaten C9. Not last split, not this split. That's been their one team that they haven't been able to shut down effectively. Every other team, they probably have some sort of strategy or have done some sort of like early game outplay where they can take advantage of it. They haven't been able to do that to C9.
Look, I'm just saying, TSM doesn't int their jungler into you 3 times twice. That just doesn't happen.
I don't know. Most of the time, it's Turtle getting left behind these days. Which I think is actually... Yeah, Santorin's not taking those losses anymore.
So when they put Turtle back in, I think this team got actually a pretty big boost. Running MASH, this team looked significantly worse than when they put in Turtle. And now that Turtle is in, they've been on a pretty decent upswing, I think. Because they've moved... What's their record since they put in Turtle? Are they like... Are they 4-0?
Very quiet, but yes.
Damn!
Silent. A silent 4-0, boys.
See, that's what I'm saying. I knew Turtle was the right option. I told him Turtle was the right option. Maybe he really did need the time off. But I knew that if they were going to make a run for Worlds or make a run for first place, they needed to put Turtle in. And I'm glad to see that he's back, and I think that he's the key to put this whole puzzle together here.
Do you know what's the weird part?
What?
It's like MASH and Turtle flipped personalities. It was like, for the first week that MASH was there, yeah, he was playing a bit aggressive, but he was like in the right place at the right time until he started inting the second week. since Turtle has been back in, I haven't seen him explicitly int anything. Have I seen him flash forward?
Wait, but that was just a whole fucking like meme that Turtle would flash in. Okay, hang on.
Okay. Turtle flashing in is sometimes amazing and sometimes terrible. I don't think I've seen him like flash in to get a kill in a while, but he's constantly been like positioning well. Like in the TL versus FlyQuest game, he was never out of position, right? There was never a time that Impact as Kennen could get onto Turtle and actually have something effective happen. It was always either just PoE or the tanks in the front line. And in the TSM game, once again, Turtle's never out of position. Maybe he dies like one or two times when they dive him, but that's it. Most of the time, he plays back away from the turtle and from the turret and expects it most of the time. He's been positioning better than I think he has like last split. He's been performing better in these past 4 games than he was during the regular season last split, and it's been interesting to watch.
So, they've put Turtle in for their last 6 games, and they've only lost one of them to Cloud9.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's making me think that they are on a pretty large upswing right now. Like, I think it's even larger than the one that they were having last split, where they seem to be very, very strong and like one of the only teams that could contest with Cloud9. And I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I'm hopefully optimistic that they can join the this upper echelon group and help everyone level up in NA, because I feel like, because I always have that feeling whenever we go to Worlds that there's like 2 teams that even matter, and I always wanted more than one team to be competitive. If we go to Worlds and I know who our top 2 seeds are before playoffs even start, that's a bad thing. So if I go in and I'm guessing at who all of our seeds are going to be, I feel like that's better. Even if the general play might be worse, it means that there's more room for group improvement, I think. But I feel like a lot of people don't see it that way, where if everyone in the room, if nobody in the room is doing very well, then there's nobody to learn from. But everyone likes to copy Korea so much. Does that really matter?
Yeah. There's only one notch that I'll take away from this team, and it's that many of the teams that they've been facing in many of the games that they have had, a couple of the teams would do like a small misplay that they would like destroy them in the early game, and then just they can't get back in there. It's just a shutout from then on. So they haven't really been aggressed upon in quite some time, and that's most of the time when I think FlyQuest is on the back foot against a particularly.
Who had the almost perfect game this week? Was that Team Liquid?
Almost. Sorry, Anthony. Did you hear the rain just start pouring out of the blue?
No.
Oh yes.
It just
my AC is too close.
Dude, it hit my fucking roof, and I just heard it. It was just a fucking wave.
Was it Team Liquid who had the near perfect game this weekend?
Yes, it was against Dignitas, and it looked like Dignitas was basically doing nothing the entire game. That was very bad to see.
That Impact chucked that perfect game.
Oh, Impact was like, I'm gonna go into the fountain now.
I'm just sitting here like, no, the record, you must set it. You don't know how badly I would love to be a part of a perfect game in the LCS. I don't care how shitty the team I get it over is. The fact is that I have that on my record. Fucking everyone at IMT has it. Or not IMT. EG has it. Where's mine? I want mine.
The EG perfect game. Oh yeah, against CLG. That was also a very dominant closeout.
Everyone thought that was a massive fluke for a few weeks. Now we're like, nah, that's about right.
Yep. And also, we still have questions about EG now. One of the rosters who has also beaten C9.
I can't believe EG beat C9. Looking at how they played after that match, I have no idea how they pulled it off. I thought that they were going to upswing off of that match, and they just haven't. They've been so rocky. It's been hard to really say that I think they're doing well.
I don't think at all. I just eat sand. I stole that from a tweet. I stole that from a tweet. Dude, I don't know anymore. I'm just so sad. I'm too sad about C9 to think.
Okay.
What are we gonna do now? Oh man, the stock market. Everyone who invested in Cloud9.
Oh my god,
Ooh. Dude. That's a yikes.
I wish I could feel bad, but I can't. Okay. So, as a primer for next week, let's have a little bit of a discussion of who each of us thinks are our top 3 contenders for MVP.
None of them.
None of them? They're all washed?
They're all LVPs.
None of them.
Every single player is an LVP.
The lowest value player.
Oh, alright. I'll go first. So here's who I'm kind of looking at for MVP. I think I'm looking at Bjergsen, Bang, and then maybe like Core JJ or I want to say Ignar, but Ignar's look kind of shaky.
Yeah, he had 2 weeks where he wasn't particularly good.
I think I'm going to try to put Demonte in there. Now, this is subject to change. I'm trying to think about this all week to get ready and give my final verdict next week as to who I think. But honestly, I feel like everybody on Cloud9 has really just not been playing that good. They've all been making mistakes. They've all been taking their turn chucking their games. And that's a systemic problem with them, and I don't feel like I can give any player on Cloud9 MVP this year. I feel like I need to give it to someone who is hard carrying their team and doing a lot of work. Who do you guys got as your top 3s?
I would pick Core JJ.
Core JJ?
I do love how he's been playing. It's his ability to navigate a team fight is kind of insane.
Oh, I love his Blitzcrank. His Blitzcrank is fucking great.
His Blitzcrank is great, but also, like, some of his Bard plays are just insane. They're just nutty. He just goddamn styles. Right? So I would definitely put him in the top 3 for MVP. I agree with Demonte. Demonte also sounds like he's doing very well. He's been one of the people who's been going to side lanes, really pressuring other teams. He's been working well with his jungler. You know, he's a hands down like a very good pick. And then if I had to pick a third, I'm gonna go with Santorin.
Santorin or PRE, I think, are also pretty far up there.
Santorin's been doing like some unexpected paths that teams just don't see coming, and I think his set is very good. He still has his Trundle, yes, but he's been playing set a lot recently, and he's been playing it particularly well. Sometimes to just make some team fight wins. Sometimes it's just been, oh hey, Wild Turtle, we're caught out in front of a dragon pit. I need to taxi my way out on this Nautilus. I'll see you later. Bye. That was an event that did happen during a Golden Guardians game. I was laughing when I saw it.
Matt, who are you looking at for MVP?
Haymant, were you about to say something else?
Nope, that was it.
Maybe a little bit of Bjergsen. He's been playing really, really well. Maybe a little bit of well, that was about to be a joke, so we're not gonna make it. I don't know, dude. Bjergsen's been playing well, and I'm currently blanking on every other player's name in the league. Dude, I don't know. Probably Bjerg. Who else could it even be, right?
I mean, we just listed off like 8 people.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them are as good as Bjerg.
Okay, well, I can give that.
No, it's mostly because I'm being an asshole. I don't know. I think there's like a real shot for Bjerg. I think there's a real shot for like maybe Demonte, right? But those are like the 2 I think have like probably the best shot in my head. But that's also from the head of someone who has no conception of how this works.
I think that C9's downturn has done wonders for the MVP race. I think it's made it.
I agree.
So that everyone isn't hard focused on which C9 player is MVP, and they're all thinking about what is the actual MVP? Because clearly the players on Cloud9 are not these infallible monsters anymore. They're not gonna just take that crown.
Sad to say you're right.
Maybe it's Poom.
Maybe it's
Poom for MVP.
No, okay, so let's kind of.
Oh, there's the rain. Hello.
Hello.
Dude, I hard cut out just now.
Okay.
So
sorry. Moving on from MVP, let's talk about rookie real quick because I think it's gonna be a really short list. So I think the list is Poom.
Insanity.
Nah.
Insanity's had some.
Let me see. Johnson. I don't know if they're counting him from last split.
Tactical.
Kumo, maybe. I don't know. Kumo might be out.
Kumo's probably out. Tactical, if they're also counting it from last split.
No, they're not. I don't think he played enough games last split, did he? I don't know.
He played like 2 games last split. You're right. This is his first split.
You know what? Fuck the LCS thing. I'm gonna go with this. We're gonna say it's Poom. It's
No way, brother.
No. I'm just giving the list. It's Poom. It's Johnson. It's Kumo. It's Spica. It's Treats. It's Tactical, and it's Alorum, Potluck, Insanity, and I think that's it. Yeah. So out of those people, who do you think is rookie of the split? I think it's between Insanity and Poom and Treats, and maybe Spica. But I don't know. Treats has been a little bit short at the moment, so I might take him out because I haven't seen as much of him as the other players.
I agree with that trifecta. I think Insanity, unfortunately, hasn't pulled enough games. As in the Team Immortals hasn't pulled enough games that you can actually put him in contention there. I think Treats has actually been pretty good. He's been pretty consistent. He hasn't had a game where it's like, oh, Treats, what are you doing? Oh, Treats, you really look out of it right now.
Me every day, brother. I always look out of it. I understand the suffering.
Right, so he's been very consistent. He hasn't been a detriment to TSM. Actually, he's probably been a great improvement to them. Considering how they were playing with Biofrost earlier this split. Poom, I think, is kind of in the same wheelhouse as Insanity. They haven't pulled out like enough wins, or he doesn't look bad for the team, right? He hasn't made any horrendous mistakes either. Hold on just a moment.
Bro, this rain is nuts.
Yeah, it's coming down now. Now I hear it.
Hey, man, what are you looking at?
I think he's talking to his mother or something. All right, so...
Dude, holy shit. This is what I've been hearing the whole show, by the way. Like, this rain, Anthony.
Goddamn. All right, so, Matt, who are you thinking is a contender for Rookie of the Split?
Are there any rookies?
I don't know, but I just listed off a bunch.
I didn't listen to you. I was distracted by the rain.
God damn it.
Name them again? I'm not kidding, dude. It really caught me off guard.
All right. It's Treat, Spica, Tactical, Insanity, Potluck. I guess I'll count Alorum, actually.
Maybe Tactical. Maybe...
Kumo.
Maybe... Dude, I don't know. I could see a few of them. I could see like a Tactical. I could see a maybe an Insanity. I could see a who was the fucking one? It was not Tactical. Who's
Treats?
The fucking other one? Maybe Treats. I don't remember. There are a few of them I could see though. I think I'm slowly growing to agree with Anthony that this is a stupid accolade.
Well, the problem is that the like there's never enough candidates and the criteria is so annoying. Like if you played 4 games in a different split, you aren't able to play in like whatever split you actually played. Like it's just so obnoxious how obtuse these are. Like I think look at Anybody seen Mash in a while when he got subbed in? I ain't seen Mash in forever. But he apparently is ineligible for Rookie of the Split. Like, I don't get it. Like, they need to start doing Rookie of the Year and like give it out at All Stars or something. Or like do it for the entire year, but the teams either swap players out so quickly, or there isn't a large enough roster that we get to have rookies in for, or enough rookies or rookies in for long enough. It's just such a bad thing for us to try to like actually deliberate on. But honestly, I think that this is probably one of the better years or splits for rookies, and to be honest, that's a little sad, but. I think, what is it, like 2 teams basically swapped their entire roster?
2 teams, Immortals swapped their roster.
Yeah, just flat. EG swapped half their roster. Dig swapped half their roster. Like, so much bullshit. But, I think it's time we move on to next week in our predictions. Boom! I got them up on screen. All right, boys. What is our outlook into the next final week 9 of the LCS Summer Split 2020? I'm ready for it. I'm hyped. TSM's tied for second. Let me pull up the
stream. Shut up. Let me pull. I got the stream up.
I've been loving it. TSM's looking hot. C9's looking cold. This is my kind of LCS.
My God. To call the CLG over C9.
I'm calling it! I've called one upset for the last 2 weeks, and I got them both! We're gonna get it! We're gonna get that good bread! And it's what's gonna let me beat you people.
That wouldn't even... Like, that wouldn't be an upset in the context of an upset. That would just be sad.
Make you upset? Yes, that would be very upsetting.
No... It would just make me sad.
Look. Like I said, if C9 loses those 2 games, if they lose even one of those 2 games next week, they are so washed.
Here, if it's even like a competitive game, I'm worried. If it's even close to competitive, I'm worried. That's the problem. With how Dignitas looked last week, with them kind of like letting the other teams run over them, right? C9 should have an easy time. They should be able to just pick something early and be able to smash them very fast. And CLG is probably like one of the bottom teams. So any of those games being competitive is bad. You have to dominate those games. You have to give like some faith that, hey, you can still run teams. Right? That's what I'm looking for from C9.
Look. Okay, this is gonna be my final word on C9 for the rest of the night. But I'm just saying,
bullshit.
The real reason why TSM and FlyQuest stopped scrimming C9 is because they're trash.
That's almost certainly not true.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
But it's like almost certainly not true, and you know that.
Whatever you say, man. Hey, the results speak for themselves.
I said almost. I didn't commit.
Okay, well let's talk about some other calls. What else have you guys done?
Nothing. I haven't done shit.
Out here
Don't ever ask me a question.
100 thieves over evil geniuses.
Well, he's
how could you?
Remember the whole coin flip thing?
Yeah, I agree, but I also think this is a pretty close matchup, and there's an argument for why 100 Thieves should be able to go toe-to-toe with EG.
Oh yeah, Hooney's looked kind of out of sorts on this team over the past couple of weeks. He's been making plays, and they just don't seem right. Sometimes his Kennen top lane, I'm not going to fault the build, but I disagree with it. I don't like the 4-lane Kennen.
Wait, play for lane.
The Hextech Gunblade, yeah.
I thought you meant Kennen in 4 lanes, and I had so many questions about where the 4th lane came from and how Kennen is in all of them.
Listen, so there's actually, a lot of people don't know this, there's an underground lane that's under the map, and it's this sort of little tunnel.
And what happens is exclusively for Yordles, so if you try to look into it, you'll see nothing, but actually there's a Ken in there. In all 4 of them.
Hey, you joke, but that's how Yordles work in the lore now. They're basically like dwarves in Norse mythology.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyhow. But, like, someday should be able to run that lane.
I definitely agree with that matchup. I don't see a large way that top lane EVG can really get control, but I think the rest of the map on EG has potential. I feel like even though I think Ryoma has looked shaky, I think Jizuke hasn't looked much more stable. And unless they get Jizuke on something strong, I don't think that it's going to pan out for them.
Jizuke the Golden Glue, who has been playing for this back half of the split.
You're right. Wait. I'm not
Golden
wrong.
Glue is the
I
one.
agree. The same thing, though. I don't feel like Golden Glue has been all that dominating. And I feel that's the matchup that Ryoma has a chance in a matchup where everyone seemed to think that Golden Glue was a scrim god who would dominate his lane, but I've never really seen that come out too much in an LCS match. It comes out from time to time, but it's not consistent, and it isn't the thing that it looks like he's good at. What it looks like he's good at is playing Orianna. So if you get him on Orianna, I think you got a good shot. But you get him on almost anything else, besides maybe Zoe, I don't think you have as strong of a chance.
I mean, even then, his Zoe feels like it's kind of a takeaway pick from the enemy. It's not that he's playing it because, well, he's good at it. It's just that he's not that, he's going to get this bubble into a gigantic pick that's going to destroy someone, right? It's not like Bjerg's and Zoe. It's not like Niski's Zoe of last split or like early on this split. It's not
Zoe. It's a good one.
Right.
I'm so upset right now.
That was the only one that I could think of off the top there. Because I'm trying to think of any like other very good Zoe players, and I'm pretty sure there absolutely is. I just can't recall them right now.
I don't think any of them are as like prominent as at least Niski, Golden Glue. Who else? Like,
Ryoma has a Zoe, but it's also the same situation.
Yeah, but
it kind of feels
Zoe
like a takeaway.
Is Ryoma's Zoe. It's like a Pokemon card from a shitty trainer.
Oh man. Now I'm trying to remember that.
got a decent Zoe.
I can't recall Demonte Zoe. That's the one problem.
Let me see. He played it 3 games ago.
Okay. But either way, like in the mid lane, it's kind of, I think it's a little bit Ryoma favored. In the jungle, it's probably, right now, it's Contracts favored just because it looks like Svenskeren and Huni and Golden Glue just aren't quite sorted out as yet. They just can't really get something going together. And that's a kind of a problem, considering that...
Why would that be a problem?
Why would that be a problem?
What's wrong with that? I don't see any issues here.
None whatsoever.
Everything is perfect in the kingdom of heaven.
Haymant.
There's no war in Bossing, say. Nothing is happening.
Speaking of things that are perfect, you have chosen Golden Guardians
Earth Kingdom
over TSM. Now, I think this is a contentious matchup. What is your
argument? I don't. I think GG easy claps.
What is my
Says the
argument?
man who picked TSM.
Yep. I want to lose. I want to lose.
I will say that Closer's been very aggressive. He's been pretty good. He's been hitting those. I feel like in the jungle matchup, when it comes to fighting, let's say ganking top lane or ganking mid, I think Closer is much better than Spica. There is one thing I will give Spica credit for, and it's he doesn't seem to miss smites. He's very
really good, dude. He's really good at the smite secures. Like, no, you're right. That's a great eye. He's so nuts.
I think one of the first clips I saw of him was him just like stealing Infernal Drake, or not Infernal Drake, Elder Drake.
Baron.
And Baron. I don't remember. He has been known for crazy ass steals, and I love hype plays, man. Crazy steals. That's what I fucking live for. It's like you think you're down, you think you're out, and then boom, Janet Tornado.
God damn it. Anyhow, but moving on, like Spica's very good at the Smite secures, and TSM recently has been playing around securing those objectives. They've been early to River, and when they're contesting Dragons, they've been having that early vision around Baron when they've been there. Actually, that's a very good case. You know, they're kind of playing to their strength that their jungler has. Is he very good at ganking lanes and stuff? Not particularly. Is he good at securing objectives? Hell yeah. You know, that's one thing that TSM's been doing. I guess that's their strategy. Just play to control the objectives. And no team seems to be able to contest them that well at it.
I'm looking at a little stat breakdown for them, and it appears that Golden Guardians actually heavily rely on the damage output of FBI. And
is that surprising?
No, but they also have a very low first blood and first tower rate, especially by comparison to TSM. TSM have 75% of their first towers and 65% of their first bloods, and Golden Guardians have 42% first blood and 37% first tower. I think that TSM's best way to win this game is probably to assault the bot lane. If they can get a good attack off onto FBI, set FBI behind, take him off of Aphelios or Ezreal, and probably... I don't, if they can lock in Caitlyn Morgana, I feel like that's just super strong right now. And that, like... Let them keep playing it. For the love of God, if you just let TSM keep playing Caitlyn Morgana for the rest of the fucking year, I guarantee you they win Worlds. Probably, maybe, if she doesn't get nerfed.
Probably, maybe. Doublelift and the Treats have been really good at playing that lane.
I mean, everyone's really good at playing that lane. That lane is super easy.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, you landed a trap? Let me throw a bind. Oh, you landed a bind? Let me throw a trap.
I feel like that's
it's
not
broken.
The thing is that it doesn't look like it's like super dominant in lane. That's the weird part about it. It doesn't look like
where it slaps.
I know that is where it slaps.
It's the
threat. It's also
it isn't the results. It's the threat. When you
can
and it's also like threat, you just get free shit.
It's also really hard to gank them because Caitlyn gets the black shield. Caitlyn E's out. You bind the jungler. If they try to dive, you dart. You black shield someone, and they're just not getting hit. Right? Like it is.
Okay.
You just flash into melee on whoever takes turret aggro and just fucking bind on top of them.
And so it's not supposed to be like a fucking Draven lane where you need 5+ kills to win. It's just like, okay, we have a lot of pressure, which means if you misstep, you're gonna die because we have the Morg bind into the follow-up. And if you don't, we can just farm safe as fuck, and you can't touch us, right? And that's a really good lane. And like Anthony said, there's the threat of if you mess up or if somebody comes bot, if this happens, we have the threat to back. It's nuts.
It's nuts, buddy. It has insane siege, it has insane dive, it has insane anti-dive. It's such a good bot lane.
And it's got really good Drake control.
And now the way that you build Caitlyn is effectively one attack speed item and just a shitload of AD. Because you just don't give a fuck. You use your Omega range and just click. And they're dead. Because you get so much fucking damage. You could do like 1200 in a single auto attack because of her crit multiplier on her fucking headshot.
Oh. I know all of that, but what I'm also saying is that...
You're wrong. No, okay.
Okay.
No, keep going.
It's just been really, like, I haven't seen it be, like, super dominant in lane, but it's been very good at that additional objective control that you'd also like to see around that because of the Caitlyn traps and how they've been playing around it.
It doesn't express its dominance in the lane in a real way. It's about controlling the enemy's options.
Well, it also can express its dominance in a real way if they get a pick, right? Like,
right, but if the enemy support do that.
I know. But like in the LCS, if the enemy AD carry just walks out from behind minions and gets hit with a Morg Q, the lane's over.
That's half their health right there, instantly.
It kills. Like if it's not half their health, it kills them, forces them out of lane. Like it's huge, right? So like they can crush. It's just that it's hard to crush given the circumstances.
All of the time against particularly good players.
It's hard to crush against LCS players who don't make dumbass decisions all of the time, only some of the time.
Hey, then you play against Huni and you're just like rolling in it.
And you're just like, Huni, why? Huni,
who did this to you?
Hooney, when'd you lose to the shopkeeper?
So, I do have one request before next week happens. Could we please just end the split now? Because TSM's got that 69% win rate, so nice. All right.
Perfect,
Now on
perfect.
to what is hopefully our last topic of the night. TSM versus Team Liquid. Now, Matt is the odd man out here, thinking Team Liquid is going to come up on TSM. Now, I'm going to take a guess at why I think you have picked this. It is because you wish for me to hurt just like you.
Is that why you thought I picked
that?
that?
To feel your pain, but even more so, because you know I care more about the result of this match than you do.
Do you want to know why I picked it?
Why did you pick it?
Because I got back from the doctor and thought, oh shit, I have to do my picks. And then I sprinted through them, and I did not look at the last 2 weeks of results. But now we're just going to commit to it and say TL's going to slap. We're just going to commit. And I do think...
the only team they lost to was FlyQuest.
Who, TL?
Yeah.
No, I think TL's actually a good team, too. Like, I do actually think... I obviously don't think it's going to be like a dummy stomp. I think this is going to be a contentious game. But I do think that, frankly, I picked TL, even if it was in a sprint, because I do think TL has a higher chance of winning, and it would not hurt me to see you suffer.
I told you, it's because he wants to see me hurt. But you know what? I have the calls. I will be victorious. But no, let's actually talk about this match a little bit more. What do you guys think about like the lane to lane matchup? Where do you think the biggest discrepancy is on these teams?
Honestly,
all of it. TL slap. No, I'm kidding.
Contradicting himself as of a minute ago.
Less than a minute. I'm inconsistent, boys.
Okay, there's one thing around the bot lane where it's like, okay, Core JJ probably has an advantage on Treats because he's just nutty. That's it. But like Treats hasn't been slacking either, and Doublelift is still a great ADC. It's just I don't really see a place where there's a huge mismatch. Maybe Bjergsen has like a little bit on Jensen, but that's also just like a tad. Jensen does still perform in team fights, and him and Broxa do have some good ganks every now and then. Like, yeah. And Broxa does perform some good ganks at mid lane every now and then to get him ahead. But it's not like major discrepancies. This is probably going to be determined by like how the draft actually pans out and how teams execute on them. More so than, oh, there's a mismatch in lanes.
So, discounting the Kane game, Spica actually has a much larger champion pool that he's expressed in the LCS. Broxa has played the same 4 champions, basically every game. He's played Lee Sin, Graves, Trundle, and Volibear.
He's also played Kha'Zix.
Spica has played, I think all of those champions. Yeah, he has. But he also, like, I don't want to say that Broxa does not have a larger champion pool than this, because I'm sure he does.
He almost certainly does.
But it looks like TL are trying to pick very similar, very consistent team compositions. Like, they're basically picking some kind of mage mid lane, a tanky or an AP bruiser top lane with a damage or tank in the jungle, and then a damage dealing AD carry and a support to either complement their mid/AD carry or to counter the other support, because they've been playing Blitzcrank to counter Thresh like everyone else has.
Well, it's a good counter. Can you?
Yep.
So I think the way that TSM has to beat TL here is probably dismantling mid jungle in a very opposite turn for how they beat Golden Guardians. So making sure that Spica doesn't get put behind like he did in the FlyQuest game, or even in a general sense, and is able to have the agency up against Broxa is very important for TSM to be able to convert into mid game. And this is me hoping that their early game dragon control doesn't rear its ugly head. But I think if they can get Caitlyn Morgana, I think that the comp that they ran against C9 is probably one of their best comps. If you can probably swap out top lane to play matchup with most things, I think this comp's still really crazy. And I want to see something like maybe a Shen come out in the top lane, because I think that will add more power in general to TSM's ability to control the jungler and convert in mid game. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for. I'm looking for Shen. I'm looking for Caitlyn Morgana. And if I don't see bans on those against, I don't expect a Shen ban unless Shen's actually been banned against them.
Oh, it's a good ban against them. It's a good ban against TL.
I can't look at the most banned against TSM. Actually, it's not in their top 5 banned against, so I don't think it's gonna go in. I don't know who's playing what side, actually. That would inform a lot about the Shen priority, because I think Shen's a decent blind pick, but I feel like he's a better like second round pick to round out top lane, and I don't feel like he's worthy of a ban quite yet. Wait, he got buffed. Is next week on 16? Because he might actually just hit ban phase.
I have no idea what patch next week is.
I'm not sure either, but I also did hear about that buff.
Yeah, they upped his shield, and his early game shield is up like 40%. And that's crazy. That's just fucking crazy to me.
For early trade,
level 1, he gets a 40% increase to his shield. That's like an extra auto. In an early trade, that's huge. Especially when Shen has a 3-hit passive that also gives him health back. Oh, that's crazy. I'm looking forward to this. I want to see Shen in the LCS.
I agree.
Oh, man. That's one thing you can't let Impact get. That's one thing you can't...
What were you thinking about TL and how they're going to win this game?
So for TL, once again, you're going to... For TL, there's a couple of things that you don't want to see TSM get. One of them is you want to take them off that Caitlyn Morgana. You want to ban probably the Caitlyn. Fine, if the Morgana makes it through, it's still like, alright, they have to play a close range mage. You don't have to navigate it as carefully, even though you still have to look out for the Morgana Q. But at least the Caitlyn traps aren't there. You do, if you get the opportunity to, I think you do pick Impact Shen. He's always looked good on tanks.
I mean, he's nice with it. We can't lie.
And if you watch the 2 games where Shen was played last week, it's very oppressive and really enables a lot of team plays. Right? You don't want that in the hands of Impact, and you don't want TL to get that, or else they could have a potential to turn around some of these fights that might be have very slim margins and might be able to work out in their favor. After that, I think it's all about who really gets those early objectives, because those objective control is currently TSM's strong point. If TL can squeeze out a couple of objectives, like if they can get, like, I don't know, maybe not the first dragon, but at least like the second, either the first or second dragon right at the beginning, that's good for them. That's a plus side, and then they can try to keep scaling into late game. And if they actually get set up at the proper times, have the proper back timings to contest vision around those objectives, they can have a better opportunity at beating TSM. But if TSM's actually able to get there to those objectives early and close it out, I don't think TL have a chance.
Fair enough, brother.
Alright, I think we're out of topics.
You want to take us home?
I think I will. That'll do it for this week on the Regularly Lens podcast. You can catch us Mondays at 8 p.m. I'm not sure what the playoff schedule is, so keep it and check for that. What else? Catch the VODs on my YouTube channel. Catch the audio podcast on anchor.fm/LLoLP. Have a nice day.
Peace. Fuck, dude, I'm so tired.